Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the CrossFit Ethos podcast. We are in episode number 8, and it's all about meet and greet. We have 2 new people on the team, and get to know them just a little bit more. So we're just gonna jump straight into this. We're gonna ask you guys some questions, but obviously we're gonna start with your name. And basically, I want you guys to introduce yourself on a layer basis, right? So our first question for you guys is basically, if people watching this, they probably know and think that you guys are very familiar, and there's a reason for that, right? So first and foremost, say your name and who you are, basically, and how did you guys find CrossFit, and how has that led your journey to where you are right now as people? We'll start with that. I'll start with the ladies first. Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Tasha. I found CrossFit through you guys. For those who don't know, Kuya Job is my cousin. I first found it out through Kuya Jerome. I think Kuya Joms in the CrossFit world, I guess. In 2012, he used to go to the Fort Box, and then he invited me over for a trial. It was the 7-7 trial, something like that. Yeah, it was really bad. I didn't like it at first. And then shortly after I graduated college, Kuya Job was in Alabang. He was running the Alabang box, and I, fresh grad, no job yet. Like, I was just an intern, and then he just invited me because I'm a very active person, like gymnastics. Saks lang. Gymnastics all throughout, cheerleading in college, and then I was looking for something to, stay fit, keep active. Like, I'm not used to not having an activity. And then I was like, yeah, try going to the box and just, see how it is. Obviously changed mindset during that time, and then I did. He made me do weightlifting, which was a first for me, and I loved it. Like, I didn't expect loving it, but that's what drew me into CrossFit most of all.
True, quickly. Like, what's a fast forward version? So you entered the CrossFit realm.
Yep.
You became one of the coaches of Bang Box.
Yep.
And then you became a manager of one of our gyms back then.
Yep.
And then you had recently been in Singapore.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's right.
So it's been sort of like a bit of a snowfall when it comes to the fitness realm, coming from college, and then I know you were kind of briefly dipping into marketing and stuff, right?
Yes, definitely.
We'll kind of delve into that just a little bit more, but my gentleman to my left.
Yeah, hi, my name is Miggy. I've been doing CrossFit 10 years? 10 years, 11 years. I first met CrossFit through, of course, YouTube. Like, I was in college, so I was like figuring out what can I do outside your regular gym bro stuff, And I found a YouTube clip of like Rich Froning doing handstand walks, deadlifts, and pistol squats. I was like, what? Some big dude can do this. So the first thing I was like looking for is like, okay, there's a CrossFit gym. Where can I find a CrossFit gym? Actually, the funny thing here is that the first CrossFit gym I saw was CFMNL Makati. And then I was like about to go to Makati.
Yeah.
Then my sister was like, oh, there's a CrossFit gym in Alabang. And I was like, oh, there's one in Alabang. Okay, so I went there. The first person I met was you.
Because
and I was
the
like,
admin.
I was like, what's CrossFit? And then the second person I met was you, because you were also doing that foundations. And I was like, okay, cool. Started CrossFit that time, loved it, and here I am now. So never look back.
So sort of like a fast forwarded version also, right? So you on the other hand, Miggy, you've kind of stayed more in the department of athlete.
Yeah.
You've kind of delved into coaching for a little bit in the past, but you've really spent more time being an athlete. I know that you've spent a lot of like time in local and international competitions, just kind of accumulating to what I'm just about to talk about. So that's a brief idea of who we're speaking to about today. Now, I know they're too humble and modest to speak about this. So let me be the one to shed some light on who these people are, right? So Miggy here on my left, he recently came from the 2024 semifinals at the CrossFit Games. So basically a regional level athlete. They're the only team that represented the country along with Coach Josh from the box as well. He's also had great success in a lot of local and international competitions, great representation, basically one of the most elite athletes in the country today. Whereas Tasha, who is previously retired, who is now planning to come back to competition floor,
That is not
she'll need some
confirmed.
time. She did have a stint teaching gymnastics for quite a period in Singapore. 5 years, if I'm not mistaken? 5 years. But prior to that, ladies and gentlemen, she was a #1 female athlete in the Philippines. So she actually has a t-shirt that says that, fittest in the Philippines. And not that many women have that kind of honor. So she was an elite great athlete to her day, multi-time regional level athlete for the team edition. So definitely we're speaking to some high tenured, strong athletes, but that's not really what the role is now in Ethos. So now I want to talk to you guys about what is your new role here at CrossFit Ethos and what are you guys most excited about your new position. So I'll start with you, Miggy.
Well, my role here in ETHOS is, of course, as a coach. Thankfully, I'm very thankful that you guys got me as a coach. Previously, I also coached in a lot of different gyms, but I think the exciting thing about being in ETHOS as a coach is I also started as a member, right? I think when Job told me about ETHOS, the first thing was, okay, how much is the membership? Here's my money. I'll just start attending class. And then eventually, I relearned to love being part of a community. And like, kind of gave me the excitement of how I felt when I started CrossFit in my first year. So I was like, okay, like it reinvigorated my want to be a coach. So I was really, really passionate. And I think through our discussions, through the internship, and through the things that I was doing, I got really excited to start coaching. And I think really passionate about doing that thing, right?
And then, Tasha?
I am actually the community manager at CrossFit Ethos. So basically, I'll be handling like all the social events, making the community tighter and like getting to know everybody. And because I mean, CrossFit is a very community-based group, and that is, I believe, one of the, if not aside from the health and fitness side of it, is really having a place and a community where you can feel welcome, supported, and safe, right? So for me, as a community manager, that's my job to make sure that it stays that way and it becomes even better. So I mean, 10 years ago, it was very basic or simpler, whereas, okay, every month we're gonna have a community event. We're gonna try to host like meets. We're gonna try to host in-house competitions. But I feel like now, especially, getting to know the people better, and obviously this team, who is also very tenured, like everybody in the boxes, has been through multiple boxes and communities. We know that there's always that need to find an intention for every decision that we make. So
I like that word
does that
that you
make
use.
sense?
So a lot of what
Yeah.
both of you have spoken about right now is more of like your roles and responsibilities,
Yeah.
right? So we're gonna kind of sever a little bit what you're responsible for to who you are, and then kind of correlate that in terms of execution. And the question here is more of like, what do you think is your philosophy to your work, right? So, for example, Miggy, what is your coaching philosophy? And then Tasha, what is your work philosophy? Like, how does Miggy as a person intend to deliver the job of coaching, and how does Tasha as a human being intend to deliver the work as community manager? I'll start with you, Tasha, on this one.
Well, funny enough, right? Because since I was a coach in Singapore, and we took like a lot of courses about coaching and what it means to be a person where kids and people look up to you. They did ask about like our coaching philosophy, which I feel I can definitely relate to being a community manager. So for me, my goal is just to make sure that the people I interact with are left better, happier, and feel that they are heard and understood. And even it doesn't mean that I will have like a 5-minute conversation with every person that I meet, but for me it's like making somebody feel seen. Like seen and supported, basically, just to leave the person I met or interacted with happier in a sense. I hope that makes sense.
And you, Miggy, what is
Yeah.
your coaching philosophy like?
Yeah,
Philosophy.
I think the interesting thing is like outside my coaching, right? I also have a corporate job, and I think the feeling that I always want, and also being an athlete, is that I want people to realize that you can have fun while pursuing a lot of different things. Like a lot of people think like, okay, I want to be good at this, good at that, right? But more for me in terms of CrossFit and in terms of being a coach, like not everyone's going to be an athlete, right? Not everyone's going to try to get PRs. So I also relate to that because being in a corporate setting for almost like 8-9 years, like my setting as an athlete has gone down and up.
Right.
So like I always had a different mentality. If I went into CrossFit, just going into a workout, that's all I wanted to do. So I think what I bring in the team is the relatability to these people, and trying to get them engaged in their own little world, because everyone has their own perspective. Like when they go in, some people want to perform better.
Right.
Some people just want to zone out from what their daily life is. So I think that's where I can come in and make it a little bit more enjoyable for people to come into class. Yeah.
That's awesome stuff. Now, if you're looking at the faces of our guests today, you're probably thinking, oh, they look pretty young. And they are. You know, Miggy's in his 20s and Tasha's in her early 30s. But believe it or not, if you put the experience together of these three people right here, we're roughly bordering 36 years now, right?
Pretty much.
Over 10 years of tenure and lots of experience. So I would say a lot of this is actually pretty exciting stuff. My first question, sort of follow-up question for you guys is, looking back 10 to 12 years ago to where CrossFit is now, especially with how we're kind of dealing things with ETHOS, how different do you guys feel the CrossFit space is, and how do you guys feel we fit into the general scheme of things? I'll start with you, Miggy, on this one.
I think if I look back, I look back at my 18-year-old self, like it's so different now. Like I think when we came into CrossFit, to your point, every Saturday we would one rep max or snatch and clean jerk, and like now I don't even one rep max. I don't even look at doing one rep max, right? So that's like one instance. But like I think even the side of like people wanting to support each other, that's been consistent. And I think the beauty of what CrossFit is now in the Philippines is people are a little bit more educated, a little bit more aware, and then we're all really focused on providing the philosophy of health and fitness, right? Health and wellness first.
And equipment is so much.
And specifically in ETHOS, super nice. So like it's the best.
It is. It really
is the
is.
best. So yeah.
And how about you, Tasha, from then and now?
Definitely the mindset of people. I mean, you know, like you mentioned, I have been in and out of the scene for a while. So obviously, number one thing that's changed is there's so many younger people who are getting into CrossFit, which is really nice to see. Like you said, people are more educated about what CrossFit is. It's not, because when I used to be the admin at Alabang, right? The moment that, let's say, a female, actually even guys, the moment that they ask or inquire inside the box, number one thing they will always mention, lalaki ba ako dyan? And I was like, you know, if you eat maybe 6 chickens a day, sure, but you know, now people are really more educated even in the nutrition side. So it's really like more of a wellness approach now, I feel. And definitely we do fitness for fun and fitness for, you know, for longevity now, which is really nice. We're not like training 3 hours a day for God knows what.
And so I guess this kind of brings me to where my final question is for you guys, just to end the session as well. You know, through your 10 to 12 year journey, I'm sure your perspective and your journey has changed multiple times. Multiple times. We went from being an athlete to being more corporate, to trying to be somewhere in the middle, to giving less to our day jobs and giving more to our training. Where are you guys at right now in your journey, and how does it look like for you guys moving forward? I'll start with you, Tash.
For me, definitely I've been out for a while. So I definitely feel how much I lack in terms of fitness, strength-wise. I mean, I used to work with kids, so like I would support them, I would carry them. You know, I can move, I can
we still have a lot of kids in ETHOS. They're basically adults,
they're
children, adults.
I can, let's see.
I mean, the one behind the camera is
I can kind of see that. I remember when we used to work out, we would be at the box the whole day. We'd train in the middle. But then at night, even if I'm done with work, I still have so much energy. And then the next day, I recover so fast. Now, even when I was working, because I couldn't work out much. After a whole day of work, I'm like just exhausted, drained. You know, like I can kind of tell also from my body how much I need the muscle. Now that I'm working out again, I'm so sore. I feel a little bit lacking. But in the future, I just want to be able to move. I mean, I'm not saying no to future competitions, but...
wink, wink.
No. I'm not saying no to future competitions, but definitely I'm going into it more with the mindset of I want to have more fun with it and just like enjoy the moment rather than zone everything out and like, rah, you know.
I feel like that's a very relatable perspective to a lot of our members or a lot of people out there who may be coming from like a different phase of their life and then coming back to CrossFit and then just do I compete again or do I not
Yeah.
compete, right? And how about you, Miggy? You're in the sort of like you're in the feel of things right now, just
Yeah.
fresh off of semifinals. Open is fast approaching, man. You know, we're in phase 3 of our process programming cycle.
Yeah.
Where are you at right now?
It's pretty funny because like after after semifinals, I was thinking, do I really want to compete? Like I've already hit the goal that I really wanted
Right.
for like 10 years,
Right.
and I thought that I would never achieve it, and I did, right? So I was contemplating like slowing down and like maybe just focusing on coaching. I think the conversations we had is I want to get more into the community side, right? But you know, life changes a lot.
Yep.
So I think one of the things I'm really looking forward is how can I change the idea of competing for myself and making it like to help the community more.
Yeah.
So I would still want to compete. Hopefully I can compete with her or with
Hold
her team.
on.
Yeah. Or you.
Happily retired. Thank you very much.
Okay. It's like the fifth time. No, this is like the 10th time I'm trying. Okay.
Konting push pa daw.
But yeah, I think I still want to compete, but like I want to make it more meaningful. I want to be able to connect with more people. Like even the coming competition that I'm gonna join tomorrow, I'm not looking at it as like okay, I have to win, right? I'm looking at it as like I want to be part of a community wherein we bring more people. You know how like we all got into it because of the sport. So
Yeah.
I got into it because of the sport. So I want to bring the sport aspect, but also show the community
Right.
in it, right? Because that's the unique thing about CrossFit. Yeah, you can have a sport, but you can also have a community cheering for everyone.
Love that.
So for me, yeah.
Especially like what athletes mean. Well, you got into it for the sport. I got into it because I was fat. So I just really needed to lose weight, right? Anyways, guys and girls, those are our 2 new faces into CrossFit Ethos. We have our new community manager, Natasha. Yes, she is my cousin and she is off limits. I'm just
So
kidding.
they
I'm just
say.
kidding. And then we of course have a very familiar face. You've seen him since day one. We have Miggy, who is now part of the coaching team. He has gone through his extensive onboarding process. We at CrossFit Ethos like to be very intentional about our selections. We like to keep the team slim, but even if they are new to the facility, they are not new to the space. I think one thing that people cannot buy is time. And having more than 10 years of experience, they bring more to the table than what you guys can imagine. And only time will show you guys what we have in store for you. So make sure that you give them a nice little fist bump, tap on the shoulder, and a hello when you guys see them at the box. And we will catch you guys on the next episode. Cheers.